Alright, now I gotta see if I can remember how to take the skins off, but I think it's pretty easy there. Nothing to remember. That's all you gotta do. Don't even need my knife by the looks of it. I'll just collect it in this bowl for the moment. There. Skin will peel right off. There you go. And that's really tender right through. Ready for mashing. Oh look, I will need my knife. I will need my knife a little bit here. Oh yeah, it's not all going to be super easy like that first piece. Basically just going at it with the knife. The skin comes right off there. Very easily. I probably got a little bit too much flesh on the skin there. But it's coming off pretty easily here. There we go, look at that. There's that piece done. And basically just go through it as much as you can. Try not even to use the knife. Look at that, that's coming right off. You need a bit of encouragement with the knife, and then you get a big piece. Look, it's just falling apart. It's so well baked. Very awesome. Now, you can use this in brewing actually. On the weekend at the Bose Oktoberfest, one of the guys who was doing a brewing demonstration made a pumpkin beer. And you put this in your mash. It gives kind of a nutty flavor to the beer afterwards. You got to be careful when mashing with pumpkin, because you can get a stuck mash. You need to be very careful when you're running it off. But this will probably get mashed and turned into pumpkin pie. I may actually experiment. I've never canned this before, and I may this year mash it all up and experiment with canning it. That's something that my wife and I have talked about. She is mainly interested in canning squash. She likes that better than pumpkin, especially for pies. She makes squash pies rather than pumpkin pie. And I've never tried canning it before, but given that I can buy canned pumpkin, I have to assume that I can can it myself. Look at that, it comes right off. I can eke out a little bit more meat from some of these skins. Look, just a bit more if you want to be a real frugal person, as I typically do. Not too much left on that one. These big fellas will be a little bit more challenging, I imagine, to peel. Let's see. Probably should have cut those up a little bit smaller. They'd be easier to peel. So I won't bore you with the rest of this. I'll finish this up in the other tray, and we'll get back and we'll weigh it all. Alright, we're going to weigh this bad boy. I've zeroed that scale out. It's all skinned up now. Let's see what we got. That's 1.011 kilo. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash it and measure the volume. I imagine I could use a hand blender for this if I wanted to. That would likely work just fine as well. Let me see. Can you see that? Move this over here. I've got a couple of different potato mashers. This one I find works better. I've got this one here that came with a set we got that I find doesn't work so well. With this it probably would work because it does work with stuff that's really, really mushy. But in general I like this one better, so just mash that bad boy up. Oh, incidentally, there's my seeds, and I got about a half a cup of seeds out of that pumpkin. I'll probably take those and eat them for lunch or something tomorrow. Now, if I knew what I was doing with this stuff in advance, I could mix stuff in there. Like if I were making, if I knew for sure I was going to make pumpkin pie or something, then I could smash in the ingredients as I'm going along here. No big deal. But at this point, I'm staying generic with this. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with it, so I'm just going to mash it up and measure the volume, and then I'll toss it in the fridge for now until I figure out what to do. Now that's pretty mushy. It's well, basically it looks a lot like the mashed squash that you often have at Thanksgiving time. That's about it. Really mushy. Alright, I think that's probably good enough. Now, let me see, where is another... I know what I'll do. I have a mason jar here that, okay, it's not clean, but it looks like it just has some flour in it. Alright, that jar, put it where you can see it. And I have here, I have a handy dandy canning funnel, a stainless steel one. Put the jar on the funnel and get myself a spoon, and we'll see how much this fills up in the jar. It's looking like it will definitely be more than one jar. Let's see what we get here. Pack that down well in there. Now, if I were going to can this, this is probably a little bit too thick to can on its own, so I would probably mush it up, whip it up with the hand blender with a little bit of water. Maybe, I don't know how much, 10% water or something like that, to thin it out a bit before canning, I think. I don't know. I may be able to do it like that if I mash it up better. So we are going to need another jar. I know that this one did come out of the dishwasher just yesterday, so it's good. And in she goes. More. It's looking like I'm going to get about a liter. About a liter, which is a little bit more than a US quart, or a little bit less than a British quart. Alrighty, that ain't all going to fit in there very well. It ain't quite going to fit. Now let's move back to this jar, and I'll just kind of pack it down ever so slightly. I see a pretty huge air pocket right there, so I will get more in there if I push out the air pocket. You can hear it farting from me pushing out the air pocket. Alright, it's tasting pretty good. I see a huge air pocket there, a fairly big one there. Can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Alright, push out those air pockets. There's one down there. Looks like it's going to be pretty darn close to 1 liter. Pretty darn close. Well, that's pretty good to know. And gosh darn it, I would be awfully tempted to can this up. That's a little bit too full for canning, so I wouldn't can it up just like that. But gosh darn it, I want to can some of this stuff. There's another big air pocket. But I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm just going to put some lids on those and toss them in the fridge. and they're good to go just like that at the moment. And that's about it.